Hello, everybody. It's the Love Witch, and I wanted to welcome you for coming and thank you for participating in another episode of the Love Witch Live. Whenever you tune in, we always love to know where you're tuning in from. So if it's a different state, we're in Minnesota in the US. So if it's a different state, a different country, please do let us know where you're tuning in from so that we can send you a hello and also know where we're reaching people from. Oh, Diana Waddell's here. Yay. Hi, Diana. And I did post ahead of time what our topic was going to be today. We're going to be talking about animal totems. So hang out with us. We're also going to have Lonnie on standby so that she can Google search some of the spiritual totem meanings for you guys so that you can get some of those answers today with some of the animals that you've been experiencing as totems or messengers. So we're really excited about that. As usual, we'll always be giving away another supercharged love charm bag. And this is to help you attract your soulmate love. So in every single episode of the Love Witch, we do a drawing and give one away during the live so that at the end of the session or the episode, you'll actually get this sent to you in the mail. And that's just another way that we can say, thank you for joining us and also for spreading the love and helping you attract love, increase your love vibration, and just get in that vibe, okay? So again, when you're tuning in, please let us know where you're tuning in from, the state and the country.
And hashtag love charm bag in the comments so we can find you if you want to win.
That's right. That's how we do it. If you guys are interested in going into the drawing for this, make sure that you put in the chat hashtag love charm bag. And that's how we know to put your name in the drawing for today. Is there anything else we need to talk about? How's everybody been feeling out there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like all of a sudden the holiday season is upon us, and yet a lot of people are in isolation. So it's a little bit crazy, which is why it's so nice to meet you all here and be able to connect and just kind of keep the love vibe going and kind of keep you spiritually minded and centered and grounded and focusing more on love, self-love, and soulmate love, especially right now going through isolation and the holiday season. So who else do we have in with us? Oh, is that just me, Len? And then we've got Diana Waddell. Yeah, she's in it again.
Yeah.
Diana, how's it working out for you? You got yours in the mail, right? I think you have too. Do you keep one like in your car and one in your home, or how are you working yours?
I know I keep some of mine in my car. I have a money charm bag that I keep in there, and I like we'll just kind of hold on to it like as I'm driving sometimes and like get ideas and like be like calling it even inspiration. So I'm like, it's bringing in money, but it's bringing in ideas for me to like make money too. So I'm like
opportunities,
bring in like good energy, like keep the flow going. So the prosperity charm bags are really, really cool as well, but the love charm bags are like what we're mainly focusing on because we're like soulmate love, self-love.
Oh, I was actually doing a reading for a client the other day, and it was really sweet. I was connecting with her father in spirit, and he was showing me this gorgeous pink energy all around him. And I asked her because I said, gosh, I wasn't seeing his silhouette as I normally do or his features. I was just seeing this gorgeous pink energy. And I told her, that's what I see when someone's showing me their soulmate connection. And then she did confirm to me that he had expressed that his wife was his soulmate. And so she was really feeling that energy. But I thought it was beautiful from the spirit world to see this on display and to be able to connect that with soulmates. A lot of people don't realize that it's true. And that's, it's why I wear the pink hair. It's why my logo is pink. That's why the charm bag is pink, and all these other little things that I have in my environment. It truly is the soulmate color. I didn't make that up. When you're looking at somebody in love and when there's a soulmate connection, it really is a pink color that's visible in the spirit world. And so keep that in mind. And that's why pulling it to you through the use of pink can actually really help put that into your vibration and help your energy shift into that energy, which is what we're all about. We want to bring you your most compatible, most complementary, highest vibrational partner that you can really, really love and really enjoy your life with. So keeping the pink, it's also a wonderful reminder every single time you see it to do something loving for yourself immediately. Like as soon as you see it, like, oh, I want to go have a nice big plate of grapes or raspberries. That's what we have on our counter today. And it might be, maybe it reminds you to go eat something healthy. Or, oh, every time I see my love charm bag, it makes me want to do 10 sit-ups or go for a walk or whatever it is. It could be anything, but it's like every time you get that little reminder to put some love into yourself, you are raising your love vibration. You are becoming a bigger beacon for your soulmate to find you. So utilize the gift that the little charm bag offers that way too, as constant reminders that you are loved, that you're lovable, that you're loving yourself, and that you're inviting that love in. All right. So let's get talking about animal totems. So as usual, do you want to put that up, honey?
Yeah.
We selected the card from the Spiritual Anatomy Divination card deck, and that's the deck that my daughter Lonnie painted and that I did all the descriptions for. And we're not going to read the descriptions, but I will sum it up for you and kind of go over that. And then we'll actually, in the chat room, have you post some of the animal totems that you've been experiencing or being really called towards. And Lonnie will pull up some of those meanings for you and let you know what they mean for you. So I love working with animals. And it was so funny because even though I've always been spiritual, you kind of have these different initiations or turning points in your own spiritual life and your spiritual development. And the animal portion of it came in later for me. First, I think it was like the spirit world and wanting to heal people and really working with herbs and ear candling and Reiki and all kinds of different candle magic and essential oils. That was the first early portion of my development spiritually. And then all of a sudden, about 20 years ago, the animals came in real strong for me. And that was really cool. It was a really nice shift in my journey where I opened up wider and became much more connected to the natural world, including all the trees, the spirit that runs through the water, the streams, and all the animals. I started being able to really tune in with them, feel them, communicate with them, and receive messages like crazy from them. So it might be different for you. You may have started with animals and then branched into other things. But for mine came in about 20 years ago, where my totem became very, very pronounced in my life. And it was really cool because when it first came, mine was the hawk. And this is about 20 years ago, the hawk came. And I really didn't recognize that that was my totem. I definitely wasn't looking for it. It wasn't on the top of my head. But every single time I was in the company of somebody else, they would say, oh my God, there's a hawk following us. Every time I come to your house, there's a hawk outside your door. Every time we drive somewhere, the hawk follows us in the car. And so finally, I started paying attention to it. And they were right. The hawk was with me, and very, very noticeably. And it's really, really amazing because 20 years after the fact, the hawk is still with me. Every single time I go for a drive, every single time I have a picnic down by the river, every time I go anywhere, I can look up and there's my hawk just circling. And sometimes it's 2 or 3, but there's always one. So the hawk has been a very, very steady totem for me. And what the hawk brings is such a beautiful, high perspective on things so that we're not getting muddled down in the mundane matters and looking at things that look like they're going wrong. If you ever get the higher perspective, it's like you can see past the current problem and you can see how this is all working out for you in the best because you have that vision from higher above that you can see how it plays out and you can see how it's overcome and you can see how everything benefits you. So this is what the hawk brings to me. The hawk also brought in for me a much wider ability to connect directly with the spirit world. If you remember, Lonnie, the hawk was coming in.
Oh yeah.
We were living in a very, very spiritually active house, a very haunted house. It was built on top of cemetery and the bodies had not been moved. The townspeople built on top of them back in the 1800s. So we were living in this house. It was very, very active with ghosts. And my daughter and I spent a great deal of time communicating with them, crossing them over, and assisting them. So it was a very interesting time for us. And so as this hawk is coming in, we're doing all this research on the house. There's tons of ghosts around us, massive spiritual energy. And at the same time, I decided to reach out, and I decided to bring in the Minnesota Paranormal Investigators. And that was the first team. Well, I didn't even know there were teams prior to that. So this is back in 2004. So they came in and did an investigation. We got EVPs immediately. We had orb photos immediately, but we had real answers to the questions that we were asking at that time immediately, right on the tape recorder, right in front of us. They didn't have to leave and come back. It was right then and there. We were experiencing everything. And so through that, I also became really good friends with them, and then, of course, worked with them. But also the story was picked up in the St. Paul Pioneer Press. It ran on page 1. It also was picked up in the book Haunted Minnesota. And Hugh Bishop was the author of that book. And it tells about some of the haunted experiences that we had in that house. So the hawk stepped in, and then all of this stuff was revealed, even though I had been experiencing ghosts in haunted houses and environments. It was never to this extreme. And it was never a turning point for me to really embrace that as part of my career. So the hawk was kind of ushering this in and also giving me more reach of where to bring the knowledge. It didn't end with just me and my daughter experiencing it. It went out far because of the media that picked up on that story. And I had so many people that would call me and talk to me about it. And then I was able to help them because of it. So the hawk is amazing, and the hawk has really served me and still does serve me. Do we have anybody with, let's see who we have.
And Angel.
Angel. Hi, Angel.
West Burlington. One of my spirit animals from a past loved one is the bald eagle.
Oh, nice. Yes. So that's like when you have a spirit guide or an animal totem from somebody in spirit, it's almost like your direct link to them, and always represents that specific person. I love that. I actually have my sister, Mary, she's in spirit. She always sends the dragonfly, always. And so when I'm seeing a lot of dragonflies, immediately I know Mary's around me, and she's sending me these beautiful dragonflies to say, hello, I love you. So that is wonderful.
Speaking of dragonflies, can we talk about how funny it is that we're doing animal totems today? Because I sat down to have some. Do
you want to show it?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's really delicate. Okay.
I don't know if you remembered we were doing animal totems today, but you came over. She grabs a plate of grapes and she's eating them, and suddenly she's like, "What is on my plate?"
It's really delicate. I'm like, there's a dragonfly wing, and I'm like, is it though? Because I'm like, I can't. So I start kind of fiddling with it, and I'm like, oh my god, because it's a little bit folded, but it's an actual dragonfly wing.
Hold it right up to the camera.
I know, I gotta get it good. I don't want to rip it because
it is really delicate.
It's very delicate. So if you guys can see that,
yeah, definitely.
Just right in my grapes. So. I don't know. I mean, we're in Minnesota and it's December, so dragonflies aren't just zipping around and accidentally landing on our grape bowls. So it's just funny. I'm eating. I'm like, what is this? And we're doing animal totems today. What timing is that? So maybe somebody in here has a message from dragonfly. Anybody has dragonfly, but you do too for sure.
Yes. Well, I know that
anybody else. I mean, this is a sign for y'all.
Yeah. Because we already know, Mary, a lot of times. She's really good at coming through for us. So if anybody else has dragonfly, that's a really good point, Lonnie, that would be also a message for them. Definitely. Okay. So what is Diana saying? Good.
Toxic. Yeah.
Yes. Getting rid of toxic people. I love that. Is that because of this? Oh, I hope so. That's so great, Diana. sometimes we don't even realize that we have our boundaries set low, or maybe we're vibrating low because we're just used to like kind of being in that kind of company. And when we make a conscious decision to be happy, choose love, be in a higher vibration, a lot of times we do have to leave toxic situations or people behind. And sometimes it's not forever. So I always tell people, don't worry, it's not forever. But there is definitely adjustment period while you're going through this, and getting your vibration to stay at a really nice high level. Most of the time, you'll just be attracting in people that resonate right there where you're holding your new vibration. But also, given time, some of those people from your past can come up and can continue the journey with you at a different level, which is much more compatible. So either way, it serves you to just choose not to be in a vibration that you don't fit into anymore, and allow the universe to bring in new people for you to vibrate with that's more harmonious. So that's great. I love that.
April says, for over 2 years now, I constantly get crows. No matter where I go, I see at least one.
So April, so I wonder, so let me tell you about crow, because crow is my second animal totem. So the hawk has been with me for 20 years. Suddenly about 10 years ago, the crow stepped in. So now it's the two. And the crow come in more specifically when I'm doing a lot of crossing over work and a lot of healing work with people that have a lot of loved ones that need that help in the spirit world. So crow stepped in and surprised me, because here I finally got used to looking for the hawk, and then all of a sudden the crow steps in. And I literally, it was so cool how crow made himself known, and it was just so profound. I was doing a ton of work. I was holding public events, and every time people would come to my house, I may have 90 people. And so many of them would have loved ones that were, died tragically or violently. And their spirits were there unhealed, and they came with their family member. And oh my gosh, I was spending so much time crossing them over and healing their souls so that they could find peace and be in heaven. So as I was doing this over and over and over and repetitively, I decided I'm going to build like this magical medicine wheel in my yard and charge it with the job of crossing over these spirits, so that I don't have to do it 24/7. I really wanted to just be able to turn that part of my work over, and then work with the living people that were in front of me and help them heal their grief and find happiness and love. So I turned that part over. I made this gorgeous medicine wheel in my yard and charged it. And I just made it out of Herkimer diamonds and river rock and north, south, east, and west, with torches. And it was beautiful and functional. And then I did my magic on it, and I went in to get my connection with Creator, and I brought it down the energy to teach that medicine wheel how to hold that energy and how to serve that purpose for the spirit world. And when I was done, I ran out to get a soda quick, and I came back. There were 4 huge black ravens sitting on my bench overlooking the medicine wheel. And I sat in the car and literally just stared at them, because they were having a conversation about what I had done. They're I could just imagine what they were saying, hey, Bob, pretty good job. Yeah, it looks like it's going to work. And they're just talking amongst themselves. And they stayed there for the longest time. I mean, they never even flew away. They just stayed there. I was in the car for at least 15 minutes watching them. And I was so impressed with that they were so aware of what this medicine wheel does, because the raven is so often known for bringing souls to heaven. And so they were giving me absolute approval on my work, and they've been with me, working with me ever since. I even had clients drive to see me for a session. They've driven, one woman, she drove 4 hours to come and see me, to connect with her son.
I remember this story. This is a cool one.
Yeah, her son had passed, and she was very nervous about seeing a medium, but she felt that her son probably needed some help crossing over. So she set up an appointment with me, and she drove 4 hours to my house. She was real nervous when she got there, and she came in and she finally told me, she goes, I was really, really nervous about seeing a medium, and I wasn't sure who to go to. And I was referred to you, and I just thought, what the heck, I'm going to do it. So she got in her car and started driving. And then she told me, she goes, And then she goes, I just started feeling safer and safer as I drove, because the most ironic thing happened. She said, 2 birds led me to your house. And I go, what birds were they? And she said, there was 1 hawk and 1 raven. And they literally stayed in front of her car for 4 hours and basically led her right to my house. She said when she turned off the highway to come to my home, it was a different home than I'm living in currently. It was on the top of a hill. And she said the 2 birds flew to the top of my house and circled my house. And she pulled into the driveway and she was like, oh my God, I am literally being led to this woman. And then I was able to help her son, and we had a beautiful session. So animals will participate with you with whatever path you're on. It doesn't have to be as a healer. It could be as anything. But it's important to know that everyone has a totem animal. Those will be significant ones like my hawk and my raven. But then you also will have so many different messenger ones that come in, just when you need it, just when you need confirmation, or your angel is sending you a sign, or your loved one in spirit is sending you a sign. Those will be more like messenger animals.
Yeah, bats, not bats, I'm sorry, I'm reading one of the comments, but birds in general have been pretty significant for you.
Oh God.
Especially in your dating life.
Yes. Yeah, good point. That's so true. So many years ago, was this like 20 years ago, I think?
Is it that long ago? Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, about 20 years ago. So again, birds, this is before I knew so much about the totems, but I did know about the messengers. So I began asking all the time. I'd ask for signs for things, right? And so I had been dating a few gentlemen, and I was trying to figure out which one to have a relationship with. And so I kept asking, give me a sign, please let me know, give me a sign. Which one should I move forward with in a relationship? And the strangest thing started happening. I would go on a date with somebody, have a great time, come home, think about like, maybe I'll consider this one. And then all of a sudden, one morning I woke up, went out to my car. This is the day after the date. My entire car, front to back, side to side, covered with bird poop. The entire car. I mean, it took forever to wash that off. It was disgusting. It never happened before or since. So it was just one of those things. And I literally was like, no, I'm not going out with you again. I'm like, if you ask for a sign and you get a sign, you damn well better follow it. So
how true.
Yeah. So then there's another gentleman. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give this other guy a shot. So I went out with this other guy, and I believe it was the very next day again, I woke up to do laundry, and there was a dead bird right in front of my washing machine. And I'm like, nope, zip, that's it, done. This is not the one for me. So then the third gentleman I decided to go out with again. And I'm literally telling him the reason I was out on the date with him. And I said, well, I had to not go out with the other 2 because I've been asking for signs and the birds have been providing me signs. And I told him what had happened with the bird poop and then the dead bird. And he's like, really pumped up and feeling really good about himself that I selected him, and suddenly, I'm not kidding, a bird flies by and poops on his shoulder, like while we're talking about this. So he freaks out. He's like, it's not a sign. It's not a sign. It's not. And I'm like, I take a step back. I'm like, okay.
Sure, it's not, buddy. Sure, it's not.
I'm like, you're not the one either. So again, if you ask for those signs, be totally open and receptive, but also pay attention to them and follow them, because the more you actually trust this, you build your connection with the spirit world, and then you can get more animal signs, more messages, and your totem animal can really develop more of a bond with you. So I don't know if that's happened to anybody else, but yeah, the birds, they have been a very, very strong totem for me. And, you don't normally choose your animal. If you have a favorite animal, That'll be different than an animal totem.
Yeah.
Your animal totem finds you.
There's the longest time where I was like trying to make, I'm like, oh, I really want, like, I love this animal. It's just so cool. Like, how cool would that be if that was like my totem animal, right? But no, I wish that was how it worked, but it's not. They definitely choose you. And when they choose you, you have to be like, wow, okay. But it's actually cool because like there's so many animals that you don't realize have such powerful teachings. Like a very close friend of mine has been seeing frogs everywhere, like everywhere frogs. And then literally one day he was finally just like, I should probably like look into what that means. Cause he's like, I didn't want to accept it. Like, it's a frog, it's not like it's like a wolf or like a tiger. Like, he's like, I want something like a bear, like something like manly and like cool, and like, tough. And he's like, I'm getting a frog? Like, what? But then he like looked at the meaning, and the meaning is actually extremely powerful.
Yeah.
So it's just so cool how that works.
Yes. So, okay, so we got some messages here, Lonnie.
Yeah. So it looks like April has a squirrel twice in her life within 50 feet of her. Months ago, a squirrel was talking to me. I moved and I followed to talk more.
Oh, how cute. I love that.
We were just talking about squirrels too. That's funny.
Yeah, yes.
Diana said mine must be cats. I have a big affinity for cats.
Okay. And how about like, is there anything else, Diana, like when you're out in nature, like, is there anything that comes to you that's trying to get your attention? It could be anything too. It could be like a bee, or it could be, sometimes people have a deer run across the road, and then they see the deer on the book cover, and then they see a deer in some, you know what I mean? And all these other places. And so sometimes the animals will get your attention that way too. So look at also, can a domesticated cat be your totem? Of course. Of course it can. Absolutely. But also pay attention to any out in nature, because those are really cool when they're coming to you from the wild, or very organically. So pay attention to those too, because you'll be able to get more messages for what Spirit's trying to communicate to you.
Do you want to mention your painting?
What? Oh, yeah. Here, Lonnie, you will get my painting.
Yeah.
So Lonnie does, for those of you that don't know my daughter, she also is a medium, and she also is a painter. She's an artist. So she does paintings. This is my spirit. No, this is my inner goddess.
This is your inner goddess. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my inner goddess painting. So this is how my daughter sees me, and we kind of like collaborated. I wanted the magic, and I wanted one of my totems in the painting. And I love this. This is always on my wall. So you see the big raven up here. And it's like, and I'm always outside on the moon, and I'm always doing a little moon magic. So, and she can see her magic right here.
You're always trying to be like, let's go outside in the moon and have a little bonfire, and like wear cloaks and tell secrets.
Yeah, I've been telling my daughter that since she was little. She grew up and she's like, Mom, that's kind of weird. Why were you always saying that? I know. I'm all about the moon and the bonfires. Yes, I love it. So she actually paints these for people. She does commissions for people so that you can have your own image painted, your inner goddess, with your animal totem, and see that it's powerful. It's very, very powerful. Thank you, Lonnie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to hear what everybody else has. I literally rescued 100 bats. Oh, I love that.
I love bats.
Yeah, when Lonnie was little, she literally had such a love for bats. You were like 6, 7, 8, I think, when we lived in the house with all the bats.
Yes.
And she was the only one. Like, I would literally ask everyone I knew, like, oh, we have got a bunch of bats in our fireplace. And they would run across the logs and look at us through the glass. And it was really freaky. We'd be just trying to watch TV, and there they were. And everybody was afraid to get them out. Like, all the biggest, strongest men I know were like afraid. They're like, well, let them like suffocate, and then I'll come and get them. And I'm like, no, it's terrible. We're not going to sit and watch that,
That's so sad.
Yeah. So they were like just a bunch of big chickens about it. So Lonnie, being like 6, 7, and 8, it was like a few years there this was going on. She would just go open the fireplace and take their little bodies and, carry them outside and be like, you're free. And the bats just loved her, and they just circle around. I mean, she was never worried about them. Here's me. I've got like a pan on my head and a broom just in case it comes after me and gets stuck in my hair, and I'm like, I'm peeking through the door, like, Lonnie, be careful, put on plastic gloves, and she's just like, it's okay, Mom, and she just go get the bats and then let them go. So she always loved bats and trusted bats and you've had a strong affinity with bats.
Definitely.
Do you feel like bats are one of your totems?
100%. Yeah. Even I thought it was when I was younger for sure. And I think they've kind of come back in the past few years. I've noticed them around a lot more. And whenever I see them, it like warms my heart. I'm like, oh, hey guys. Oh, how are you?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, let's see what other people have. And then let us know what you think might be one of your animal totems, and Lonnie will look it up and we'll tell you what the definition is or the spiritual meaning of it is.
Yeah.
So I'd love to do that. Or anything that you've seen lately. Like for Diana, I know you weren't really sure if a cat was it or not. But also like, can you like think about the last couple weeks? Have you been out walking around and like seen something, like whether it was a frog, a squirrel, an albino squirrel, something specific, or heard a certain bird call that you thought was unusual or pretty consistent? Think about anything that you've experienced lately from the animal kingdom, and we'll look that up and see if there's a particular message there for you. Okay. This was crows. Yeah. The crow is so powerful. I love it.
Yes, absolutely powerful. Oh, I see a lot of feathers. Yeah, feathers are great. So look for like symbols from your spirit animals too. They're not always going to show up as an actual animal. Sometimes they'll show up in a dream, or they'll like leave you like,
good point.
Like remnants of where they, like for example today, like there was a dragonfly wing, not a whole dragonfly, but just a wing, just enough for me to be like, oh, okay, there's a message for me today in this, or a message for everybody else today in this too.
Yes.
So it's just kind of pay attention to things like that. It could be feathers, it could be like footprints, like hoof prints and like in dirt or something. Or, yeah. Even just hearing them. We have some owls by my house right now, and like for the past few weeks I've been hearing two of them talking in the woods every night, and I'm like, oh hey guys, you got something to tell me? Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah. And so when that's happening, then you know you can literally just get this feeling that's kind of a knowing about what they're expressing, or you could go to bed that night and have a significant dream where you'll get the message that way. So it's just kind of like tuning into your environment. And the animals are part of the spirit world. So they're very, very closely connected to spirit. And it's very, very easy for them to show up and bring messages to you. So whenever you have a significant or strange encounter with an animal, consider that as a messenger for sure. And if it's very consistent, then it's probably a totem. So
yeah, and sometimes they're messengers. Yeah, like you just said, there's messengers, which is really, really cool. It sounds like Angel even mentioned a raccoon just walked up the other night, and it was assumed it was a cat at first.
Yeah.
That's funny. Those raccoons, the raccoons, oh, and the fox. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because those are both kind of like almost like trickster animals, like trickster energies. So they're very intelligent, but they're also very like goofy.
Yeah, why don't you look one up, Lonnie? So which one did she say?
Let's see. So the raccoon showed up twice.
Okay, so let's look up the raccoon because that showed up twice. Yeah, whoever else is in the chat room with us, let us know what animal you've been experiencing, and Lonnie will look it up for you right now and give you a message. Oh, there it is. So you let me know when you get that ready, Lon.
Yeah.
We're looking up the raccoon right now. So yeah, it's not just Native American culture, it's shaman from all over the world that recognize the significance of animals as messengers. You know, sometimes people call them totem animals. Sometimes they're called power animals. They could be spirit guides, or, you know, the totem like is going to be more significant, stay with you for a significant amount of years throughout this life. And if you look up the meanings of one that is showing up for you really often or is an actual totem, you'll recognize that whatever they represent is something that your soul is working on. So it's really cool to, like, if you see, like, I'm really good at, like, if I get my little messenger ones, I'm out walking and, okay, here comes a frog, boop, 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 and he does something weird. I will literally look it up on the internet and see what meaning of frog is that day. And it is always perfect for whatever I'm working on that day. So as they come in, don't worry about if they're there all the time or if it's just a sudden message, just one time. look it up and see how it relates to what you're actually going through in your life.
So going back to the raccoon, Native Americans, the Dakota Sioux, believed that they were called, or they called them a word that I can't pronounce. I'm not going to try, but it translates to sacred one with painted face. The Aztec word for raccoon translates to one who takes everything in his hands. It's true. They're cute little fingers. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. The term for female raccoon means she who talks with the gods, which is
wow.
Really cool. And little old one who knows things.
So lots of intuition and connection with the spirit world.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that is so cool. Was that for Angel?
Yes, I believe
wow,
so.
that is really cool.
Celtic, it was what was it here? It was one who steals food from other animals. There's a cool part about the Celtic though. Maybe that was it. Anyway, yeah, that's really cool. That's a very cool symbolism.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we'll look up the cat too for Diana.
Cat, okay,
I think she's thinking if there's any other ones, but let's look up the cat for Diana. We'll see what that means.
Let's see. So they're about patience, waiting for the right moment to act, independence, yet enjoying social connections.
Wait, what is that?
Independence, but also enjoying social connections. The spirit of adventure, courage, a very relaxed but deep connection with the self, healing from the inside out, and curiosity, as well as exploration of the unknown or the unconscious.
Yeah, that's perfect for Diana.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect.
Very cool.
And you know what? I also like it that they're stealthy and that they can defend themselves. You know, that I love that independence about them, but yet at the same time, they also want to snuggle with you and they want to snuggle with other animals. And so they seem independent, but also they're like really lovable and really, you know?
Yeah, it's on, I like that it's on their terms. Like you have to kind of earn their respect and like, then they kind of choose you and then I actually really like the cats are definitely one of those animals that chooses you. My dad actually right now is living in Texas, never once been a cat person. And this year a cat, like a stray cat, just found him, decided to start living in his backyard, made its way into his house, and literally it's like his new baby. Like, it's the most bizarre thing I've ever experienced. I never in my life thought my dad would get a cat, but this cat just chose him.
Yes, that's how it happens.
It works. Yeah, that's...
You know, and it's exactly how it works. And I have a lot of people through YouTube and my groups and stuff that lose pets. And I always tell them their heart breaks and they're so sad because they have such an amazing connection with animals. And I always like to say this, of course, yes, it's easy to have that kind of connection with animals because they're so close to God. They're like so close to spirit. So being able to bond with your animal is not going to be the same as it will be with a human. But animals are teaching us how to love humans, you know?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So it's very important to take those lessons forward and continue to expand your love field and be able to love more people in that way. But when you lose a pet, it can be so devastating. And one of the best things to do is literally adopt a new pet. And everyone's like, oh no, I don't want to replace it. And trust me, it's not about that. It's that when your love has nowhere to go because you just lost the object of who you were giving your love to, it gets stuck in here. And this is what causes all the grief and heartache and actual heartbreak. So the sooner you can put that love on someone else, the more your heart can heal, your grief can clear, and you can begin to form a new bond. So it's about healing your heart and staying in that love vibration. It's very important not to just stop loving because somebody has passed, whether that's an animal or a person. So finding more outlets, more people, more animals to love is what will help you stay in a really healthy love vibration.
A quote that I read recently was grief is just unexpressed love.
Yes.
So that's exactly, I mean, spot on, you know, being able to channel that unexpressed love into a different energy that can also return it back to you. You're sort of, you know, you're still getting the benefits of being able to express that and release that while also healing and being able to like love another creature.
Absolutely. It's so important.
Move forward. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, mediumship with Mel.
Hey.
Hey, girl. We're talking about animal totems. Mel, let us know if you have an animal totem. And Lonnie's looking up the descriptions right now. So we've been talking about that today. Should I pull? Should I go ahead and pull one of these hearts, honey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's just do a random heart message then. While we're waiting, let's see.
I think it's actually kind of cool too, because like animal totems are such a cool way to like get to know yourself, and also a good way to like sort of get to know like your potential soulmate and your potential partner. I think connecting with the spirit world and the animals in that way, they can start sending you messages, like especially with the birds, like you said.
Yeah, like do what I did, like, you know, tell spirit to send you signs when you've met the right person, and to send you signs when you've met the wrong people, so you don't spend time there. Just like I did with the birds. You know, if you don't mind a bunch of bird poop, that's a great way to go. It was effective. I can like definitely vouch for that technique. So that's one way to go for sure. But yes, the spirit world will work through the animals. And so just being open and aware of when they're coming in, and then you can Google it and find out, or you can just like close your eyes and just get in tune with it and feel what the meaning is or the purpose is.
And going back to what we talked about in the beginning too, sometimes we have animal totems that aren't necessarily with us for a whole lifetime. Sometimes they are just messengers, but
yes,
it's cool too, because there are some animals that mate for life. You know.
Yes. And actually, when I was getting more into the soulmate energy a few years ago, all I would see was pairs. And I was like, this is significant, because it was very different for me than the other kind of animals that I was experiencing. And no matter where I was, it would be 2 birds, it would be 2 whatever, wherever I was, 2 hawks, 2 everything. And then more animals that are actually known to mate for life. And what animals are those, Lonnie? You always point them out to me.
Geese, I believe, are ones that mate for life. Swans, I think ravens, but I'm not quite sure about ravens. I'm pretty sure they are. But definitely wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, wolves are some of the, like, that's, at least for me, like that's pretty much been like a go-to like symbol for like longevity and
yes,
also community and all that. Like I think that's a pretty good like.
Absolutely. And so it was like this kind of like a shift paradigm was happening for me. And I was like, and so you'll notice, like, no matter where you are, like, you're always creating with the universe, like not you're doing it in the universe, like you're creating with the universe. So as your soul gets ready for something, look around and start noticing how the symbols are being brought to you, and the messages and all these different things that are cooperating with you to support your transitions and help open those doors and opportunities for you. And that's why I love working with the animal messengers and spirit guides and animal totems, power animals, anything you want to call it, but with the animal kingdom in general, so closely tied with spirit.
Sounds like we got some people that are seeing some of those, those animal totems. Wolves. Mel's seen wolves in her meditation.
Nice.
Swans are another. Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, Lonnie, look up the symbolism for wolves.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get you reading that.
I did want to confirm. I just looked it up. Ravens are believed to also mate for life, which is really cool.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you start to see ravens, that could signify, you know, the work you do in spirit, or it could be you're bringing in your soulmate because they mate for life. So when you look up the meanings of the animal totems, you can actually feel which parts feel really, really in alignment with yourself. And you don't have to take every piece of it if you feel like there's some parts that don't, but you will know what resonates with you, and just take that piece.
Okay, so wolf symbolism is...
Okay, do you want to come in here and read it, or are you okay there?
Well, I'm going to stay here because then I can read it.
Okay, so Lonnie's going to read the wolf symbolism.
Yeah. Sharp intelligence, deep connection with instincts, appetite for freedom, expression of strong instincts. And then one of the negative aspects is when you're feeling threatened or having a lack of trust in someone or in yourself. So the wolf also teaches you how to have more trust within yourself and your own intuition. Very much strongly connected with the instincts. So that's connection with your own gut feeling, your own intuition, your own inner guidance. It's also a power symbol of freedom, access to higher guidance with shamanic journeying. So for those of you that are drawn towards more shamanic healing, that might be pretty important for you to have as an animal. Yeah, and also from my own personal experience too, I know the wolves are very, very strongly like loving towards their young. They're very community oriented. They're very social animals. As far as taking care of members of their pack, like they're very like they will have like systems set in place. There's like something I saw recently online. It was actually really cool. It was like a pack of them walking along, and they would take the weak ones and like put them in the front so that they would not get left behind. So they would set the pace of the whole pack, and the whole pack would not leave them.
I love that.
And I think that's such a beautiful message because they would like, stay as a community. They'd stay united.
I love that. Instead of having the weaker, younger, or sickly behind, they put them in front.
Mm-hmm. They have like little systems. It's
I
really
love
cool.
That.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They're really intelligent animals.
Yeah. Wow. What a great totem.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And a lot of people, once they really closely identify with their animal totem, a lot of them will get it tattooed on their body and or have it painted. If you have it anywhere that you can see it, it actually really helps hone in on that energy and connect you with it more thoughtfully or more consciously so that you can get more of that energy into your life. So, if you have a special animal totem, you should get some pictures of it, put them around your house, consider a tattoo if you want to.
I'm definitely doing a whole bunch of tattoos for all of them. I'm like, I want to get I just want to make sure they're all close to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very cool.
Okay. So and then Angel says swans for her too.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Oh, love it.
Okay. So let's see what we got. We've got the little heart cards. I'm just going to pull a couple of these. Just a reminder, if you're in the chat room and you want to be in the drawing today for the love charm bag, do hashtag love charm bag. Lonnie's going to select somebody at the end of the show here today, which is coming up soon. Okay, today's message on the hearts is journal. Let's see, journal. And there's so many different ways to journal. When I was young, I always kept a journal. And it was more about what I was doing in my life and what boys I liked and, different things that I was doing. And then as I got older, I really started, actually it was before the whole gratitude journal was a big deal, but sometimes I went through things that were so difficult in my life that I kind of naturally started doing that, where I thought, I remember this one point, I'll share this. I was going through a divorce. I didn't have a car. It was winter. I had to literally walk to work. I wasn't making enough money to better my position yet. And I didn't know what to do next in my life in terms of school or like how to really come out of this event. I just moved back from Hawaii and making new friends, the whole ball of wax. And there was no family support whatsoever. There was a lot of drama in my family at that point. And so I remember just praying all the time. And I must have just been intuitively guided to start putting things down in my journal that made me happy, because everything was overwhelming. It was really, I was alone and it was hard. And I remember just thinking, well, it doesn't do me any good to focus on any of that. So every day I push myself, at least write down 3 positive things today. And sometimes it was literally like, oh, I was working and a really cute man walked through my line and smiled at me. Or, one of the young workers walked me home in the snowstorm to make sure I got home safely. Or, somebody would compliment me throughout the day and I would write that down. But sometimes it wasn't from people. Sometimes it was like the sun came out today and the sun felt really warm on my face. And I sat in it for 5 minutes because it was winter. It was too cold to stay out longer. But like to feel the sun on your face, sometimes those were my things. And so it was, I guess, an early form of a gratitude journal where I was just really looking for anything in my day that was positive that I could write down. And I know that helped me shift like an extremely difficult paradigm for myself and find a new opportunity and a new life and a new everything very, very quickly. So if you want to take that as advice and you want to keep a journal, make sure you don't go into the things that are pumping up the anger, the rejection, the bad feelings. We used to just dump in our journals, but that actually contains that energy still. It doesn't shift it. So no matter what you're going through, you can write it down and share your thoughts and feelings, but really challenge yourself to add things that you're grateful for every day, no matter how big or small that they are, so that that journal can actually help you shift it and create something better in your life, draw it to you, magnetize it to you.
I love that. I love the idea of a gratitude journal and like just being able to like put down the things on paper to like remind yourself of all the beautiful blessings that you have in your life. But also like what a great tool for you to utilize as a way to get to know yourself.
Yes.
I think that's a great tool for self-love too. Like maybe like write down some of the things that you're grateful about that you have within you. And that's going to help draw that energy, like, you know, put that energy of love back into yourself. And that's going to help draw a soulmate to you that can also recognize those beautiful qualities.
Yes. And, you know, also, there's another way to keep a journal, which I highly recommend because so many of my clients have lost somebody close to them. I like to keep afterlife journals. So every time I've lost somebody significant, I journal my afterlife experiences, which could be meaningful dreams that I have of my loved one that passed. It could be when I'm seeing them, like transfigure in public on top of somebody when I see them in a crowd. You know, it could be something like that. It could be an animal message coming to me. When you see the number digits line up like 1111 and you're like thinking of that person, yes, that's an actual afterlife communication. So that would go in my afterlife journal. And then you start to really understand, wow, this wasn't just like, you know, they died and never came back. You understand that they're still interwoven in your life and they still participate in your life. They still know what's going on. And you see the frequency that they're involved with you still. And it's really powerful and really meaningful to see how often you're having these feelings, dreams, interactions, symbols, messages, all of it. And so that's another way to journal.
That's absolutely amazing. I just wanted to kind of go back to this topic here real quick. Angel was mentioning how her husband had passed away recently in an outpatient procedure gone wrong. Talking about animal totems, Angel, I'm wondering if your husband has any like animal messengers that he uses to send to you of anybody who has experienced the loss of a loved one or
right.
loss of a partner. You know, pay attention to those symbols because they will find ways to contact you and they'll find ways to let you know that they're okay and they're sending their love and all
absolutely.
of that.
Now, did Angel say earlier though that her husband, she did feel her husband was sending her some messages?
Oh, did she?
From an animal? I think so.
I may have missed that.
I think early on she said that. Yes.
But yeah, that's for anyone that needs to know that too. If anyone's listening,
yes. You know, oh my gosh.
Pay attention to those because they'll keep sending you signs.
Yeah, and there's nothing that like can like brighten your day as soon as you see that sign or symbol that you normally associate with your person in spirit, and all of a sudden you see it and you're like, you know, like yesterday we came out of the store and we saw hot air balloons.
Oh yeah, 3 of them.
And we're like immediately, and it's not just nostalgic and it's not just a memory. It's like it comes to you when you need it and you feel it and it's different and it's like, and it made me think immediately of somebody I love that's in spirit. And so we're always interplaying. So don't think about it as anything is ever being held back from you. If you are not in the flow and receiving what it is you want, look at your own self as what's blocking you. Okay. How can you get back engaged in what's going on out there? How can you connect with spirit? How can you connect with the animals? How can you invite love? You want to be in the energy of creation. You want to be in the energy that's flowing. So where we get stuck is when we extract ourselves, we isolate, we're angry, we're unhealed, we're bitter. All of those things just cut off our ability to connect with the magic in the world. So do your healing, and really the more you pay attention to this beautiful, magical universe we're living in, the more you actually create more and more of that. You know, it's like whatever you focus on grows. And it's absolutely true with the spirit world, symbolism, love, money, all of those things that are in that flowing energy. The more you focus on it and show appreciation towards it, the more it comes rushing in. So I love it. The journal was actually our heart
I
today.
think that's a good one.
Yeah, and I think we'll just leave it at that one. I don't think I'll pull another one.
Okay.
Yeah, but do you want to select somebody for the love charm bag?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because we're going to wrap it up here. Lonnie's going to select somebody for the love charm bag.
Okay.
So if you're in the chat room, hashtag love charm bag. Lonnie's going through those right now to select somebody.
Yeah, hashtag love charm bag, everyone. Now's your last chance, last call for love charm bag. If you want the love charm bag to sort of attract that energy, that vibration of love into your life, get that magnet of self-love as well as soulmate love. You want to start incorporating that into your daily life. This is going to help you do that. It's a little magnet for those types of energies.
And we love making these. Lonnie and I charge these. Oh, yeah. So they're very, very potent and powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot, too. My book came out this last week.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't done a huge launch yet, but it is available on Amazon. It's called The Love Book.
The Love Book by the Love Witch.
The Secret to Finding Your Soulmate. And we'll have the links below the video. We'll put those on if you're interested. It's a fabulous book. I channeled it. It came to me because so much of my time in the past year has been really, over a year, has been really, really deeply helping people to heal their heart, raise their love vibration, and attract love. So this book, I'm so excited that it's out there and available for you. It leads you through some exercises that you can do on your own that can really help to shift your heart space and to invite more energy for love. So yeah, be sure to check that out, The Love Book.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to pick the winner for the Love Charm Bag.
All right.
Oh, Stevia also said, thank you for my list.
Oh, yay. Hi, Stevia. Awesome. I'm glad you got it.
It was a Facebook video about it. I haven't seen the Facebook video.
Me neither.
I'll have to watch that.
Stevia, will you tag us? I didn't see it.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome.
That's so sweet.
That is so awesome. All right, let's see here. I'm picking a winner, you guys. I'm scrolling through the comments here. Let's see.
Yeah, and don't forget to get your pink on. I mean, you guys want your soulmate, you know. I mean, we don't want everyone walking around with exactly this pink wig, but you can if you want to.
Yeah.
But you know what? Just throw on some pink underwear, some pink nail polish, a pretty pink ring, whatever you want. Just get the pink going in your life. Get the soulmate color surrounding you. Just like with that client that I saw with her dad, you know, his whole energy was pink. He was so much in that soulmate space. And it really is a real vibrational frequency. So the color helps you bring it in. Put some pink out, pink candles, anything that's pink, get your pink out.
All right. Got the winner for the Love Charm Bag, you guys.
All right. Who is it? Who is it?
Angel Lee.
Angel, okay, yay.
Reach out to us on Facebook, Angel, so we can get your information so we can send that over.
Yes, we're going to send you a supercharged love charm bag. Please, yes, contact us. Is she on Facebook, honey?
Yep, she's messaging.
Okay, good. Yep. So private message on Facebook, give us your address, and we will pop that in the mail for you tomorrow. And I don't want to forget this. Next week, I am letting myself have a vacation, so I will not be here. And so next week will be Lonnie Witch coming in.
It's gonna be a Love Witch takeover. It's gonna be the Lonnie Witch takeover show. So next week we'll just be kind of doing the same sort of format. I'll be answering any questions that you have about Diana's business, any books that she has, any information like that, as well as doing any kind of intuitive messages on my end as well.
Yes.
I think you're pretty familiar with me at this point. I pop in every now and again.
Lonnie, show your face for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always shouting from the background.
I'm like, get over here. Get over here. Yes, Lonnie's she's an intuitive healer, medium. She's been doing the spirit work with me and healing people since she was 3 years old. So she will be able to handle whatever you guys bring her next week. She'll be able to answer all your questions. She'll be doing some intuitive reads.
Yes.
Pulling the hearts, giving a love charm bag away, all the goods. And we'll post ahead of time what you plan to be talking about.
Yeah,
we'll post that. So next week, Sunday at noon, you'll see this lovely lady instead of me. And then I'll be back the following Sunday.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Sweet.
Awesome. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us. We're so appreciative. Really great to see you. And let your friends know about this. We want to spread the love. So the more people that tune in and we can send these to, the better. And we really, really appreciate your time. So you guys, I wanted to send you tons and tons of love and have a great week. Okay, bye-bye.